To talk more about this, we welcome via Zoom energy analyst Chris Yelland. Chris, a good morning to you. Welcome to the agenda, and thank you so much for joining us. There really is so much to discuss here. Eskom says it's run out of money to buy diesel. What does that mean for electricity supply? Is this something that you believe is going to be a continuous problem?
Yeah, so Eskom have indicated formally that they have run out of money to buy diesel. They have overspent their budget for the year by 2 times. Not only that, they don't have any diesel in the tanks. The tanks have run dry, and there's nothing on order. And they're not going to reorder until the new financial year, which is starting on the 1st of April 2023. Now, this means that they are no longer dispatching their so-called open cycle gas turbines to meet demand. And there's 2,000 megawatts of these open cycle gas turbines, which is equivalent to 2 stages of load shedding. So this new policy that was instituted as a result of lack of money and lack of diesel is going to worsen the situation by 2 stages of load shedding. So that is the impact that this will have. So whatever was going to be load shedding previously, it's going to be a further 2 stages worse.
Yeah, I think that what might be frustrating for South Africans is that, where we're sitting with generation capacity, we seem to be, either very high or very low. Yesterday, we had the suspension of load shedding because there was generation capacity, and today reserves are depleted. I mean, how is that possible that we're able to one day suspend load shedding and then the very next move all the way to stage 5?
Yeah, it's really very unsettling, and it's a sign that things are not well under control. Bottom line is that they were doing severe load shedding on Friday and Saturday, in order to replenish the water levels in the pump storage schemes. They can't replenish the diesel in the diesel tanks because they don't have the money, and the ship, there's nothing on order. But they had completed this topping up of the top dams by Sunday morning, and then they decided so they didn't need load shedding, but in order to meet the evening peak, suddenly there was a problem, and they went back to load shedding. And as I say, with this 2,000 megawatts of open cycle gas turbines being unavailable to meet demand, we're into severe load shedding today, and it's going to worsen at the evening peak this evening to stage 5.
Yeah, okay. You talk about worsening to stage 5. That we've heard, and we've obviously communicated to the viewer as well throughout the morning. How bad could things get, though, Chris? I mean, let's be straight with the viewer and give us an opportunity to prepare for the very worst. Are we going to see a stage 6 possible?
It's possible, yes. It's even possible to go beyond that. As I say, this diesel issue and the unavailability of the open cycle gas turbines at the moment to meet demand makes whatever load shedding we were going to have previously 2 stages worse. So let us say we were in stage 3 load shedding before. Because of this new situation, we're going to stage 5 load shedding. So if we were in stage 4, it could be stage 6. So the bottom line is the situation is getting worse, not better.
I said, is it possible for us to see stage 6? And your response was yes, and even beyond that. I'm trying to get a picture of what beyond stage 6 looks like, Chris.
It is, we've never been beyond stage 6. We've had stage 6 twice, and I'm told by municipalities that anything beyond stage 4 is seriously problematic for municipalities. They simply don't have the people, the cars, and the resources to do the switching of substations at the kind of repeated frequency that they need to do it. When you reach stage 6 load shedding, you're having 8 hours out of 24 of load shedding. That means staff have to run backwards and forwards, switching on and off circuit breakers, and this becomes very problematic. Not only that, the more switching that takes place, the more areas that cannot be returned after the end of load shedding because of various overloading of the system and trip outs.
Yeah.
And so the number of problems after load shedding rises exponentially when you reach the higher levels of load shedding, and municipalities said they just can't cope with it.
Yeah. Are you expecting government to continue to rescue Eskom financially?
Government has no alternative, especially, in the lead up to an elective conference in December. The political consequences of all of this are very severe. And not only the political consequence, but the economic consequences. It is still such that the cost of diesel is still lower than the damage to the economy. And therefore, from a purely economic sense, at the current price of diesel, as high as it is still preferable to run the open cycle gas turbines rather than face the cost of damage to the economy. And so ultimately government is have to come up with the money, and already today, or in fact last night, the Minister of Public Enterprise issued a press release saying, very belatedly saying that they're looking at the problem and trying to find extra money.
Yeah, I need to ask this question, because when you start to see a pattern, it certainly is something that needs to be addressed, right? We just a few months ago, we saw the president on a state visit that had to be cut short because load shedding had gotten so bad in the country. We've seen him on a state visit to Egypt in the past, where once again load shedding had reached, very serious levels, and that trip to Egypt by the president cut short. Once again, the president is in the United Kingdom on a state visit, and again, we now are sitting at stage 5, possibly going to face stage 6. Is that a pattern that I should be noting?
Well, a number of people have said to me, is it a coincidence that every time the president leaves the country, on a high-profile international visit, the wheels start coming off in South Africa, and he has to return to deal with the problem. So there are suggestions that this sort of these problems are orchestrated. I don't know the answer to that. I certainly don't have any proof that such is the case. But people have pointed out the pattern. I just want to also make a particular point about the money. Where does the money come from?
Yes.
The money comes from the tariff, ultimately, that customers pay for electricity, and also it comes from customers who pay for electricity. Eskom has pointed out, and it's true, they have a total of 52 billion rands of arrear debt from municipalities. This is local government owes Eskom 52 billion rand. If these local government entities paid for the electricity they used, Eskom would be able to buy diesel, for 52 billion rand that would last significantly more than 2 years. Yeah. So the problem is that Eskom is not collecting its money from government. So this is where government has got to step in and make a plan. And in a way, what we're seeing play out here is a kind of an end game where Eskom is putting down an ultimatum and basically saying, listen, if you don't pay us, we don't have the money. We don't have the money, we can't buy diesel, and we can't use the open cycle gas turbines to meet demand, and therefore we're going to have increased levels of load shedding. So I think government has been sleepwalking into this emergency and needs to wake up.
Energy analyst Chris Yelland speaking to us there on the continued load shedding that Eskom says may very well become erratic moving forward. That's quite a word to use, erratic load shedding. What we all can agree on is that it is certainly a frustrating situation for South African citizens.